Hey, what's up, y'all? This BDF44. Hey, look, man, I got something to say, and I'm gonna lose a lot of friends with this shit. I'm gonna lose friends, I'm gonna lose followers, I'm gonna lose people with this. I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'm not going to be. But I have to tell my truth. I have to speak on what this feel like. So, I have gone through this more than once in my life, okay? I've gone through this more than once. This is the second time I've gone through this. But I feel like I gotta say this first. I love people. As I said in my last video, I'm a kind person. Naturally, my mother had a bubbly personality. She was the type of individual, she smiled at everybody and she loved everybody and she fed off good energy. If you smiled at her, whether it was whatever the energy was, she gonna smile back because that's just how she is. I inherited all of that. I was only raised by that one woman. Okay, so she put in me all of that. But what also comes with that is something that she didn't give me, which is social anxiety, different types of things that I've never been able to really put a label on until this era, where people are starting to describe some of the things that I've always gone through. Social anxiety, depression, shit like that. I've suffered from these things all my life. It's been a part of my life, and to the point where it was just, you know, people would tell me that I was, they would condemn me to a degree, not really condemn, but just tell me that it's anything other than something that I had any control over, if that made any sense. It's like, you have control over this, do something about it. You can do this, you should be able to do that. So now we're getting to a point where we understand the mind, and it's like, all right, yeah, maybe there's something that this person couldn't have done about this. Maybe this person needed help in this area. Okay, so I have social anxiety to the nth degree. I'm one of the worst cases I've known of. But I still try to be as social as possible, and my personality lends itself to something otherwise. So it becomes a real conundrum for me, right? But now I'm going back into the world, man. I've been kind of in one of those depressive states for the past year and a half, and I've stayed home alone. You know, I kind of keep to myself because of it. I was raised in a single parent household. There was no kids around in the neighborhood, nothing. I went to different places to kind of, you know, cultivate my social skills. But, you know, as those situations started to fade, I started to spend more and more time alone. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I live alone, and I'm a lonely person without the lonely feelings, because I like being alone, because I don't have to deal with what is perceived as judgment and demands and things of that nature. So I like being by myself all the time. Even though I have great friends who love me dearly, family who love me dearly, I love them just the same, but I'm just not wired properly to be in their lives like some of the normal people that they know. It's not wired that way. And I would love to change that, but I can't. This is what it is. I'm working on it, put it like that. With that being said, I've said all that to say, if my perception is wrong in what I'm saying, that was my disclaimer. That's where we're going with that. Because I do have a certain type of brain. I feel like at times, because I'm a heterosexual male working around people who have alternate sexual preferences, it's the best way I know how to describe it. Sometimes I feel like I'm shunned for not being available, if you know what I mean. And it gets to a point where, okay, I meet a person who's supposed to be, you know, an employee of some sort. They cool. When they first meet me, they look at me a certain way, like, oh, okay, maybe I got a shot with this person, or maybe they think I'm looking cute, or whatever the case may be. It's fine, whatever. I'm not offended by that. The way my brain works, I'm not bothered by that. I'm so comfortable in who I am, and I'm so alone till I know that energy goes away. I walk away from that energy, and it goes away. So it's not like I have to deal with anything of the sort. You can feel however you feel about me. I'm just going to walk away from you anyway. This is how I am. So that's how I equate it. But when you have to deal with people every day, and mind you, I've been obviously alone. When you're dealing with people every day, you got to deal with different shit. And because I've spent so much time alone recently, I have very little patience. Very little patience. The littlest shit will send me over the top. The smallest thing will have me feeling like, okay, I'm unhinged at this point. I feel like a ticking time bomb. And I pray a lot. I've recently stopped smoking weed. You know, still love my weed, but I'm just taking some time off because I really want to take this job seriously. But I find that I'm having a difficult time dealing with some things that come with trying to keep a sober mind with this type of head. And one of the things I'm having a hard time with is dealing with people. And the people that I work around, respectfully speaking, most of them dudes is gay, man. They just are what they are, and I have no issue with that. And I think because I have no issue with that, it's like they expect something from me. When they don't get it, they have a fit. And I'm not talking about everybody. It's just these particular people that I'm talking about. Mind you, there's a fleet of people that are not like this, who don't treat me no kind of way, who are respectful, and I have to give them their props. It ain't no issue. Just like I don't have an issue with them, they don't have an issue with me. But the ones who do this, it gets to me like nothing else. It ends all patience with me. So I have something to say about that. I just want to say, listen, as a man, I respect women in a different way since I've had these experiences. I don't bring unwanted sexual attention to women. I don't try to push myself on the women in any way, shape, or form no more. I don't run up to strangers trying to get your number. I've never been that guy anyway because of my anxiety. I don't talk to girls like that, even though some would say I'm an attractive dude. I'm just not wired properly for that. I get anxious when those situations occur. I feel like I'm not adequate in some way to be able to provide for them what they want, and eventually it would go south. And it usually does, honestly. So I've lived alone, and I've been happy like that. So I don't have any kids at 35 years of age, but I'm exposing myself openly because I've gone through these situations, and I felt like I've been nice to people. I haven't given them the ugly eye when they try to flirt with me on some gay stuff. I haven't been disrespectful, running around pumping my chest out, trying to be hard so that people would treat me a certain way. And because of it, I'm getting the responses and the energy that comes with not putting your chest out and telling motherfuckers to stay the fuck away from you. You understand? You have to be confrontational to keep certain energy off of you. That's what I'm learning. And I'm not wired to be confrontational unless I'm taking it completely to the farce of the left. And that's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm making this video, because I feel like I'm a ticking time bomb and I don't want to explode on nobody. I don't want to explode on people for what is perceived as discrimination for being different. It's the best way I know how to describe it. Different. Just different. Never mind the skin, never mind the preference. Just different. Because they can't put a finger on my personality, they can't seem to figure me out because I'm nice but I'm standoffish, I'm antisocial but I'm always bubbly. That shit makes people feel like they don't know which way to come with me, and because of it I get treated a certain way. I don't know if there's a soul in the world that relates to this, because I've never heard anybody say they've talked like that. I've never heard of anybody with a personality like mine. I've never heard anybody with circumstances that would lend itself to that personality in such a way, and I've never heard anybody go through these experiences while being that way. So I feel like I'm alone in this. But I've gotten to a point where I have to say, I don't feel as comfortable as I used to around gay folks, man. Because I feel it's not because I think that it's going to influence me in any way, but it's because I get treated a certain way when they find out I ain't gay. It's like they disappointed and they get upset. It's like and when I say they, I mean these particular individuals. Mind you, it's more of them who ain't like this than that are. So I have to express that because it's understood to me, but it may not be expressed the right way out of my mouth. So I have to say, there are people that I've gotten along with all my life that may have not had the sexual preference that I hold. And that's, I don't put them in this category. But for the ones who do, because they identify as such, or I perceive that they identify as such, I don't know what they're sleeping with. But, this is who they seem to be, and this is how they treating me. And it wasn't that way from the beginning. It just wasn't that way. It was cool. They was looking at me like a woman would look at me if she was attracted to me. And then when they find out that energy isn't reciprocated, then suddenly it becomes a problem. I can relate to women who go through that shit when, I've heard of scenarios, for example, maybe a girl be at a bus stop or something, and a dude come up to you and say, hey, girl, what's up? I'm gonna get at you. And then she'd be like, nah, I have a man or some shit. And he'd be like, well, F you then. I don't want you anyway, ugly. I'm going through that with dudes. I know we live in a world where everything is accepted. I come from a generation where it's not. So I had to rewire my brain to not say the F word. I had to rewire my brain not to say that's gay in a negative way. It still comes into brain and I have to check myself. So I understand that I come from an old world. And the way that we thought is not how the world works. And there are a lot of great people who identify that way who don't discriminate against others. They don't. I want to say that 1,000,000 times so that it's understood, that I understand that. But coming from where I'm coming from, dealing with what I'm dealing with right now, I feel like this video is what's keeping me sane. Making a video like this keeps me sane, bro. So, I just want to say that, yo, women, y'all ain't never going to get that energy out of me. Even if I'm attracted to you, I'm going to do my very best to keep that energy from you unless it seems like it's reciprocated. Because I know how that feels. From dudes. Not from females. From dudes. So I know exactly how ugly that shit is. And how it makes you feel when the energy change. You understand? I know how that it feels. When you trying to be cool with somebody, you trying to be friendly with somebody, and suddenly when they realize they ain't got a chance, they start acting funny with you. I know how that feels. That's all I had to say. So for those who don't relate to this, it is what it is. This is my experience. But I know there's probably someone who relates to this to some degree. So just understand, I feel you. You ain't alone on that one. Some of us are still straight out here, and some of us don't want to act like we tougher than tough to keep energy away from us. Some of us want to get along with people. Some of us just want to love in a positive way without all the sexual energy. I want to get along. That's how I feel in my heart. But I feel like in certain situations, especially professional situations, I've had issues where it just doesn't work out that way for me. Suddenly I'm discriminated against, or suddenly I'm being pushed aside, or suddenly I'm being treated like I'm stupid or whatever, what have you. When they first meet me, suddenly saw this googly-eyed book stuff, all this looking in my eyes like, yeah. That immediately turns into something dark when they find out they can't fuck you. Let's just keep it real. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you for listening to this madness. I'm out. BDF.